Hey, beautiful soul. First things first, if you haven't watched the video on healing your traumas by surrendering to God, check it out. I'm going to put it in the cards, but it'll also be in the description. That's like the prequel to this video. Let's get into it. So, in that previous video, I didn't fully break down why it's so important to develop a relationship with God. You want to have a relationship with God almost like they're your friend, because this will help you get towards healing your trauma. And when I say this, I don't mean God is going to do everything for you. And we're going to get more into that. One of the biggest reasons why the first step is to connect with God is because you will learn to connect to your own divine abilities. I know for some of you that might sound strange, but all of us have unique abilities that make us connect better to the spirit world. For some of us, it's wisdom. Sometimes we see things. Some of us, we have dreams of clear sight and premonitions. For some of us, we hear things, we smell things. These are all different clairs, as they call them. These can help you align better with healing yourself and improving your life significantly. By developing a relationship with God like they're your best buddy, you also begin to learn the voice of God. The way God will show up for you is very unique to you, but the way they speak is also very unique too. And that's something that you'll learn to tune into through meditation and, of course, starting that connection with them. And by the way, guys, when I say God, I just use that as a general word. God can be anything to you. God can even be your higher self, which is another thing that I want to get into. Your higher self is that connection with God. It's almost like you as God. And I know some people don't like that idea, but in Hinduism, they have this term called the Atma. And the Atma is the essence of God within you. You can connect to God within you because God is also within you and outside of you. I believe in Christianity, they call that the Holy Spirit. And I know some of y'all might not see it as that, but I promise you that's what it is. Also, by connecting to God, you'll learn what true love is. True love will help heal you significantly because you'll learn to accept your traumas. And we'll get more into that later as well. And lastly, for some of us, we have gone through traumatic events in our life that have caused us to not have a very good relationship with our parents. This is especially true for me. And because of that, I began to develop a relationship with what I like to call my divine parents. These are my spiritual parents that help guide me every step of the way. And for some people, that might sound very strange and odd to you, but for some people, that's exactly what we need, especially when we're coming from a background of extreme trauma or when we're coming from parents who are very unloving. When you start this spiritual journey towards getting closer to God and learning to heal your traumas, you will learn to develop a sense of trusting and understanding your intuitive voice. This intuitive voice, which is coming from you, will guide you in many ways that are beyond what you can ever imagine. They will help you get to certain places at the perfect timing. They'll help you meet the exact people that you need to meet. They'll align you with amazing opportunities, and it'll help you make the right choices. It is so important to develop and understand your intuitive voice. This voice is usually the first answer. Have you ever heard that term when you're taking the test, your first answer is the right answer? This is exactly what I mean. That is your intuition. But many of us, we learn over time to doubt our intuition. We get into the mindset of logic, but logic is very limited because logic is ran by the ego. The ego functions on a level of only the information that we know, only the things that we learn. Sometimes using logic is what we need to do, but there's other times when it doesn't work, and our intuition is very necessary. I always encourage people to lead with their intuition and then follow up with logic. A prime example is when I moved here. My intuition told me where to move, but it was the logic that set me up towards making that move work by doing a yard sale to making money and also reaching out to somebody who helped me get a lot more money. This actually happened after I used spiritual practices as well. So they all tied together in the end. By surrendering your traumas to God and making a true relationship with God, you will learn to bridge the gap between religion and spirituality. And this will be very important on your spiritual journey towards healing. This is because there will be some times when you are in extreme need of help and you might ask God for this help. God will align with you other people of other religions who are willing to help you. This will help you keep a better open heart and acceptance of all of God's followers. You will also learn that God's followers are just followers of love, and their love for God translates into the energy that they bring out to you. That energy can be extremely healing. The perfect people will align in your life, like I said earlier, and really reach down and help you. There was a time when I was struggling very hard with my low self-esteem and my traumas, and I had asked God, please God, I need a therapist. I don't have any money. I need them to be free. I want them to be a man so I can learn to trust men. I want them to be spiritual. And I want them to specialize in trauma healing. And guess what? It literally happened, guys. Why? Because I learned the power of asking God for help, and God delivers. There's nothing that's impossible for God, and that includes healing your traumas. The right people will come, I promise you. So remember earlier when I said God won't do all the work for you? This is where we get into the next part about the self-reflection part. A lot of self-reflection happens during meditation and meditative practices. Through this journey of self-reflection, you'll realize the root of your traumas. Every trauma, especially depression, anxiety, has a root cause. I know that might conflict with some scientific evidence, but I believe that you being healed is not in their best interest. There is a huge money thing going on. I have to admit to that. But there is definitely a root cause. For a lot of us, it's a caregiver, it's a parent, or somebody who we went to school with. It could be a coach, it could be a teacher. But someone caused these traumas that you're having, and that's making it very difficult for you to believe in yourself and trust yourself and trust your intuition. It's making it very difficult for you to get closer to accomplishing your goals. Through this self-reflection, you'll realize certain things about yourself that are very uncomfortable. There might be certain repeating thoughts that you don't like. There might be some traumas that you experience where the core memory is literally deeply rooted in your spirit, in your little physical body that is causing you physical pain and illnesses. These discomforts are perfect and powerful because whereas at first you became a victim to your trauma, when you learn to surrender it to God, you are taking that first step towards healing. And when you take that first step towards healing, you will have a deep yearn for change. You will realize you no longer want to be your old self, that it's time for a new version of yourself. I know exactly how that feels. There are going to be periods in your life when you're going to be sick and tired of your old reality and repeating the same cycles over and over again that are getting you nowhere and keeping you sick. Calling to God is the perfect way to do that because when you don't know how to get out of your own traumas, there is no way you can do it on your own. Think about it. You've never achieved it before. So how do you think that you'll know how to do it now? This is why you have to ask for a divine knowledge to come and help you. That divine knowledge will literally align things for you to make things happen for you. I was not able to get anywhere in my life trying to do everything on my own. I had to visualize and see a higher version of myself and live in that higher version of myself to get to where I wanted. And it really did start with me wanting a huge change in my life because I was sick of my old self, y'all. But it's also very important through this time of self-reflection. There are going to be some times where you were literally the problem. And I understand that could be very hard to admit. It can be very hard to accept. But what is beautiful about that is it's really going to help you transform your life and start to change significantly. When you have enough humility to realize that in certain situations in your life that cause you a lot of pain and extra trauma, you were the problem because you were acting out in a place of unhealed and unhappiness. It is very important to forgive your old self for being that old, not very good, outdated version of yourself. Think of it almost like an application or a company or a business or something, right? That offers a service. Their old versions might have had a lot of bugs, a lot of crashes, and it might have been terrible. It might have shut down many times. It might have broke or malfunctioned many times. But over time, through developing that system and making changes and listening to outside help and guidance, that system had improved to what it is today. For example, YouTube is a great thing. I started YouTube back near its earliest days, and YouTube has come a long way. It used to have a lot more crashes, a lot more copyright issues, a lot more stealing people's content and all kinds of things. It was the wild, wild west. In some ways, I liked that. And in some ways, it wasn't that good. And so it changed and it developed and it got better. You can do the same thing for yourself. Speaking of liking certain aspects of the old YouTube, this goes into my next point. You will learn there's beauty in the struggle. There's a beautiful song called Love Yours by J. Cole, and he says there's beauty in the struggle. And I love that line because it helps you appreciate your old self. You would not be here today had you not followed that path. You're still alive for a reason. You still have life left. You still have things that you need to do. So don't get too caught up and angry and sad and in the victim mentality because of all the traumatic issues that happened in your past, because you can heal. You will become a newer version of yourself once you learn to find the beauty in all that old stuff that you had. There's a beautiful deity named Goddess Akilandeshwari. When I was having a very hard time accepting certain traumas that happened in my life, that brought me a lot of physical pain and misery and sadness, I called on to her and I listened to one of her songs. I'll link it in the description. It goes, Amba Parameshwari Akilandeshwari. That's just the basic general line, but there's more to the song than that. Her name means never not broken. That means she's always falling apart. But the reason why she's falling apart is so that she can create a new version of herself. Learn from Goddess Akhilandeshwari. She represents the idea that we are always growing as people. There are old parts of us that are holding us down. They're making us feel bad, and we want to change it. So we take those parts of ourselves, we look at it with objective eyes and with loving eyes, and we say, where can I improve this? And we do. That is exactly what Akhilandeshwari can teach you as well. By forgiveness and learning about the beauty of the struggle, you'll also learn to let go of attachments. This is attachments to many things. Sometimes our traumas are linked to certain people, places, or things. Sometimes we are constantly in repetitive trauma and abuse from people around us in certain environments. And we need to learn to let go of that attachment and let it go. I personally had to learn to let go of certain relationships in my life that were extremely difficult, including my own mother. My mother has narcissistic personality disorder. And although it broke my heart, and although I wanted the love of a mother, I knew that she was not the person to fulfill that role. And I had to learn to let her go. By learning to let go of attachments, you'll find so much peace and joy in your life. I have no regrets of letting go of that relationship with my mother. It's brought me a lot more joy and happiness, and it's brought me a lot more peace. And I finally learned to heal my traumas that were holding me back for so long. And of course, you'll be grateful for all the experiences that you have. When you look at the beauty of that struggle, you'll realize that struggle only made you stronger. There were valuable lessons in there that nothing could teach you, no school, nothing. And that gratitude will run so deep in you that it'll be so transformative and healing. Once you go through all of these steps and learning to trust God, learning to trust your intuition, learning to walk with faith and knowledge, this is when the magic happens and you'll begin to heal your trauma. You'll learn to heal your trauma by reprogramming your mind. That means letting go of those old memories and thoughts that are holding you back and repeating cycles in your life and causing a lot of negative energy within your soul and your body. And you will replace that with positivity. This positivity will go throughout your spirit and transform the entire reality of your physical being. You'll learn to love the unhealed self. A big, huge, humongous part, and this is why I said it in the beginning, of starting to heal is learning to accept yourself unconditionally. That's what I mean by love. When I say love, I don't mean you put it on a pedestal and you praise it. When I say love, I mean radical acceptance and peace in being. You might be in a traumatic state right now, but you are learning to change that. You are taking the steps to change that right now, especially by watching this video. Hey, leave a comment down below if you made it this far. Say trauma dump. That's a little joke. Don't trauma dump in the comment sections. Ha! I have a place for that. And I'll talk about that at the end. You need to know that you are not your trauma, that you can heal. You have the ability to heal right now. Just by watching this video, you've already taken the first step towards healing. You've already aligned yourself with someone who can help you learn to make that connection with God and learn to heal yourself. So many people identify with their traumas, and so many people become a victim to the things that happened to them in the past that they believe that nothing can ever change. They have not realized how powerful they are and how powerful God is to invoke humongous, tremendous, miraculous change in their life. The problem is so many of us put too much pressure and have this idea of when and how things are supposed to happen. You'll learn to let that go. When you begin to make a true relationship with God and ask God with full humility to help you each step of the way towards healing and allowing God's guidance to you towards certain people, places, and things that'll get you towards healing your trauma, you will become a transformed version of yourself. You got to stop claiming your trauma right now. See it as an aspect of your personality that can change. If you found any value in this video, I encourage you to check out the link in my description where I have a community where you will work together with people with ADHD, depression, and anxiety towards accomplishing one big major goal that you have not been able to accomplish in the past. In this community, you'll get a lot of videos like this, plus exclusive videos, and you'll learn a lot of tips and tools on how to transform yourself as a person. Not only will we work through healing our trauma, we'll also work through taking steps towards that goal, small and big steps towards a goal, and learning how to manage our symptoms. being ADHD, anxiety, and depression. I say our because it's truly a community of like-minded individuals who are all there to support you each step of the way. And you can get all of this for just $10 a month, and it'll definitely be worth it. You are worth discovering your healed self. You are worth that goal that you've been trying to accomplish, and you can do it. Take that leap of faith, check out the link in the description, and even if you're not ready, check out more of my videos so that you can see the value in everything that I'm teaching here, and there'll be much more in that community. I hope to see you there, guys. Make sure you subscribe and comment, I'm ready, if you made it this far to end the video. Peace, y'all.